So last year I made a video on Trunk basically defending him because at the time he was considered one of the worst brawlers in the game. Now Trunk had only been out for about 2 months, and throughout the time he only received one buff, and that was the ability to charge their super through damage. Strangely enough, despite all of this backlash, Brawl Stars decided to nerf him the following month by a lot, so much so that he kinda became irrelevant. Since then he's only received 2 minor buffs, but this wasn't enough to win players back because nowadays you rarely see anyone use him. So in this video I want to go over if Trunk is still a good brawler to use and which modes are best suited to him. If you've seen my previous videos on Trunk, then this may not surprise you, but I've been using the same loadout, which includes workarounds as my gadget. To my surprise, this actually didn't really receive any nerf or buff, though in my opinion it's perfectly fine as it is. With that said, I have noticed some players have become more aware about it because if you try to activate the gadget while someone is attacking you, there's a small chance they'll stop attacking until the gadget goes away. Regardless, it's a decent gadget. Now for my star power, I've stuck with new insect overlords, which again to my knowledge hasn't received any nerf or buff in the past, but I think it's fine. I still prefer this over his other star powers since I think it's more practical, especially on some other modes that have much larger maps. Speaking of maps, that's one thing I want to talk about because in all of my footage that I gathered for Trunk on Showdown, I purposefully chose maps that have these speed boosters. In my opinion, I don't think the nerfs he received made him bad, but rather the current meta really messed him up. If we take a look back at their nerfs, they were mainly directed towards his hypercharge, or I should say hypercharges in general, and he just so happened to have a really strong one. They didn't really affect his attack or speed all that much. Now Trunk is by no means a slow brawler if we include his super, but when you face off against brawlers like Edgar, the problem really starts to show itself. Just like with Shade, you have 2 types of attack and you always want to do the most amount of damage. Unfortunately for Trunk, they have it worse than Shade since the radius in their max attack is really thin and therefore easy to miss if you or your opponent moves. That's why it's important to have as much speed as possible to avoid this, or better yet avoid a confrontation altogether. Though if you're given no choice, with some practice you can get good at baiting players to go near you while attacking from a safe distance. Anyways, now I want to show off Trunk on some modes including Gem Grab and Heist to give you an idea if they're still good in them.
Trunk the Mighty is ready to get fighting! We're the Queen!
So to wrap up my thoughts on Trunk, I think he's still somewhat usable in current Brawl Stars, albeit with some limitations than before. But let me know what you guys think about them in the comments. Anyways, have a good day.